Welcome to this video. We are going to learn the basics of using Schoology. First, open up a web browser. It could be Google Chrome like I'm using, or Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer. Schoology works really well on all of these. In the address bar, type sha-hslu.schoology.com and hit enter. This will direct you to a single sign-on through Google. What you can do is type out your Sacred Heart School's address with the @shslu.org, click on Next, type in your password, click Next, and you're in. It'll briefly take you to Accounts, but then it will return you to Schoology. Okay, this is the main page that you see when you first log in. If you have subscribed to various groups, there are, for example, STEM groups you could join, things like this. Then you'll see blogs and postings. Otherwise, to access your course materials, click up here on Courses. This drop-down shows with blocks the various courses that you're enrolled in, and you'll see some experimental things here that I'm testing out. But what you want to do is find a course like this, which is listed with the block, the course number, and Sacred Heart Academy. So this is my physics class. B means second semester. And I know it's block D, which is when I have honors physics. So I'm going to click there. Quickly, we are brought to our class page. This is where we have all of the materials we would put in for students to be using. Now, whenever we want to add materials, you simply click right here, and you have the option of adding folders for organizing your content. You can add, there's the folders. You can add assignments. That's a turn-in spot where students can submit work electronically, or it can just be a way to attach files and include instructions along with links or anything else that goes into the assignment. You could add quizzes and tests. Assessments are the steroids version of quizzes, so they have a lot of extra features and options. You can add files or links, discussions for students to be posting comments and replying to each other, or you can just add a simple page with instructions, text instructions for students. Now, no matter what you click on, many of these creation pages to create something new look the very same. So for example, if you add an assignment, create assignment, you'll be asked to put in a name, a description is optional, and then you have these settings down here along with date, category, and some settings at the bottom. If I switch briefly here to creating a test or quiz, it's a lot of the same settings. Even for adding a file, these things we've seen before on the other two pages. Creating discussions, same settings. Creating a new page, again, you've got the same sorts of settings in the same creation screen. So what we're going to do is focus on creating an assignment, and what you learn about the assignment settings will transfer over to the other things you could create as well. But before we go creating class materials, we need to organize where those materials will live. So the first step is to create a folder. Click on Add Materials and then choose Add Folder. It asks for a title. You can choose a color, and optionally you can add a description. The description appears below the title. You have various font settings to format your font, and there's even a spell check feature. You click here if you'd like to add an image, a link as hypertext. That means it's blue clickable text that takes you somewhere else, symbols, equations, and so forth. You have the option of adding a date. The date would appear below the description. Dates are optional unless you choose to publish this entire folder on a particular start date, and then you have to enter the desired date. On to publishing. When you publish the entire folder, Schoology still lets you hide individual items in that folder. So what I like to do is I publish my Unit 1 folder, and then I have everything from Unit 1 in that folder, but I only publish them one at a time as the semester progresses. So you can choose whether you want this to be published or unpublished, and that's an easy setting to change as you go forward. Once you're finished, click on Create. So there's my folder. If I click this arrow, I'll see that there's nothing inside because I haven't added any materials. So to add materials, you can hover over to see this dashed green line and click the plus. And now I'm adding materials inside of Unit 1. I could also hover underneath Unit 1, and anything I add here would not be in Unit 1. Let's add another folder just to show some of the features that are available. Day 1. You can organize this however you like. Many people will show a folder inside of Unit 1 called Homework. But whoops, look at what I've done. My homework folder isn't inside of Unit 1. So let me open up both folders. Well, they're empty. If I click over here to the right of the name Homework, I'm going to click and hold my mouse, and now I can drag up and into the Unit 1 folder. Another option is to click the gear and then click this Move button. From Destination, I can select where I would like this homework folder to go. Anything with a dash is a subfolder, so I see here clearly Homework is a folder inside of Unit 1. Here's what a completed course might look like. I've got my syllabus here. I have the various units that we've learned, and if I click this arrow icon, I can expand to see everything we've done. You'll notice that it's really easy for students to find the class materials. They see the same view. It doesn't matter what kind of organization you use, no matter where your folders are, students can very quickly look at everything in the entire class at once, and they can find their homework, their files, and so forth. So there are different icons for assignments versus quizzes. This is a page that simply contains instructions. We've got grayed out icons whenever the file is not published, and normal looking icons when the file is published. I have subfolders here, and that contains a link. This is what the icon is for discussions. And for everything that I've got in my entire class, I can click to access the settings for every single item. If I click on Edit here, then I can edit those original creation settings. I can take away the attachment. I can change the date, change the grading category. Everything is there for me to look at and modify if desired. So that's how materials work, and in other videos we'll go through the details of these specific items. Before we finish this video, we're just going to briefly look at a couple of things on this left side toolbar. Almost all of your time will be spent in the Materials tab, so that's really nice and easy. Everything you need is right here. However, there are a few other things we might use. Updates is something you generally can avoid. Students don't check updates, and if you post something here, they don't receive any alert indicating that you've added it. So you can sort of steer clear of that. Use email instead. Gradebook you can also steer clear of. We're not going to be using the Schoology Gradebook. We'll be set up instead with the PowerSchool Gradebook. Grade Setup. This is something we really won't need to worry too much about. However, this is where we add rubrics. So if I click on rubrics, I'll see the ones that I've got here that I've already added. I haven't created any in this class. So I would click on Add, click on Rubric, and from there I could build the rubric that I'd like to create. You have to build rubrics here before you can attach them to specific assignments, and they live in one class at a time. So if you already have a rubric that you want in an older class, you could copy it to here. Mastery badges, those are advanced tools along with analytics and workload planning. Members, however, is pretty useful. This shows us the list of students, the roster for that course. So let me go back to materials. Again, materials is where you'll spend almost all of your time. There are just a couple final things to take a look at. The first is notifications. If you click in this top right corner on notifications, You can set when you will receive emails from Schoology. So many teachers will just turn off all notifications and then you have to click on Save Changes, but you can decide. The notification settings are determined on a course-by-course basis, so whatever changes you make, you have to make them in every class that you teach. The final thing is to figure out where we can find our old materials. So there are two places. The first is Resources, and you simply click up here where it says Resources. Resources are long-term permanent storage. This is where we want to save everything at the end of the semester or at the end of the year. Now, our resources are organized into collections, which are basically just like boxes, sort of like filing boxes. And inside each box, in each collection, there are folders that we've created. So on the top, we have the list of our collections, and as you click into various collections, you see the particular folders on the right side. On the bottom, you have resources that have been shared with you by other teachers. If you want to share a resource, you can't share the home resource, but if you click on any of the others that you've got, you can simply click this share button and follow the steps to share it with another teacher. Okay, in addition to resources, there is one final very useful place where you can access old course materials. It's a course archives. First, click on Courses. Then in the top right corner, click on My Courses. Next, click on the Archived tab. What we see here is a listing of all of the classes we've taught on Schoology. It's in chronological order, starting with the most recent, and so the very top here is this second semester from last school year. If I scroll down, I can see here we have semester 1 from last school year, and then we get into 2 years ago, and it just keeps on going. So if I pick a particular course, let's pick a course, it will contain all of the course information from that particular year that I posted to Schoology. So I can open up these folders, I can copy things over to an existing active course, and I have access to all of those files, folders, and so forth. Okay, that's a pretty good overview. Thanks for watching.